There's so much anxiety. When was the last time you actually did nothing? You sat down and emptied your mind and had nothing that you had to do, nothing that you felt obligated to do, nothing. Chances are you probably don't remember. There's so much to worry about these days, and it's only getting worse. So we're going to talk about what anxiety is, how it works, and how you can manage it for a happier, more peaceful existence. So anxiety is when you have a future burden that you choose to pick up right now. You live in the future or carry a worry about something that has not happened yet. Now, we live in a world where we have access to a ton of information. This gives us a ton of superficial knowledge about things that we should care about or things that we should change without giving us any knowledge about how to do it. More contemporarily, you're given 3 or 4 different ways to feel about something that actually impacts your life. That's enough to cause anybody anxiety. So this is especially rough after being confined to our homes and having very limited physical interaction. That physical interaction is incredibly important because it gives us data. When you experience something, you know what it's like. You understand why it's important not to touch boiling water. So without the background data to make up our mind about something, we are left with warnings and no experience of our own to ground or dispel this threat. So that's a contemporary example, but I want to give you one more that will help illustrate how anxiety works. So I want you to imagine you're being hunted. Something wants to get you, and you are in a building and you don't know where it is or what it's going to do to you or how you can stop it. So you're scared. You feel the fear. You feel the anxiety brewing. So like I said before, anxiety is picking up a burden of the future today. So when you're threatened, your body is able to predict the threat. It's able to put together a hypothetical situation as if the threat was right in front of you. And when that happens, you get antsy and you get tight chest and you start freaking out a little bit and you can't really figure out what's going on, but something's got to happen. Really what's happening there is your heart rate increases and your reflexes increase. So that prepares you to deal with the threat, either to fight or run from something that is imminently threatening to you. So this is incredibly useful because it lets us, or rather it prepares us for something that we may not have time to prepare for. It gets our body ready to handle the severity of danger without yet being in danger. Now, the reality of the world we live in is that the danger is usually either way far away from us or has nothing to do with our immediate lives. But every time we watch the news or we're scrolling through our Instagram or we see that something terrible is happening in the world, we still feel that as imminent danger and react to it with that anxiety response. Also, the more awareness you have, the more sensitive and perceptive you are, the bigger of an impact that's going to have on you. You become better able to feel threats, and so your reaction to them happens easier. That's terrible if you're constantly bombarded with danger signals. So now, to find peace and control this process, we have to understand a few things. First of all, action is the antithesis to anxiety. So if you're being hunted, you're in that building with this sense of fear. You go into a room, you look at the room, and you have that data that, oh, this room is empty, there is no threat here. You've transformed your mass of anxiety about things that could happen, and you've turned them into action which proved to you, gave you data that there's no danger here. Your action cured your anxiety. Likewise, when you hear terrible things happening on the news, you will feel anxious about them until you act on them. This is a loaded game because we feel responsible for the knowledge that we have, and yet we have no experience or ability to act on it. This is especially important for things that may not be in your control right this second, but you really do need to do something about. If you take one action in the direction of the place you need to be in, then it will reduce the anxiety you're feeling right at this moment, which is important because if you keep that anxiety tomorrow or the next day, you may not be able to act a week down the line when you actually have the opportunity to. So the fix to anxiety is act. And that could mean delegating what you're worried about to someone else. It could mean releasing your own responsibility for the situation and taking the energy to build yourself. The anxiety gives you power. It makes you act. It makes you want to do something. That's what anxiety is. It's the physical sensation of there's something close, I need to move. And so move. While we may not respond to what made us anxious, we can take that energy and apply it to preparing ourselves for the next thing that makes us anxious. It could also mean actually taking action on the thing that you saw. It could mean when you're worried about something, go and fix it. The key is making a choice and being intentional. And the experience, the data, the perspective, and the knowledge that you gain by being intentional will make the next one easier. Organizing these feelings, understanding them, and then taking responsibility for them is incredibly powerful. And it will empower you to not only deal with your own anxiety, but help others through theirs. So that has been the Board of Knowledge, Anxiety Edition.